Back pain doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It builds slowly, quietly, and often without you realizing it. One day you wake up stiff, the next day it lingers, and before long, something as simple as sitting, standing, or even getting out of bed starts to feel uncomfortable. What makes this even more frustrating is the belief that it must have been caused by one specific moment. A bad lift, a poor workout, or sleeping in the wrong position. But for most people, that's not the real cause. The real cause is much more subtle and much more dangerous. It's the small things you do every single day. Because your body is always adapting, every position you hold, every movement you repeat, every hour you stay still, your body is learning from it. Over time, these patterns shape how your spine functions. And today, we're going to break down 3 of the most common mistakes that are quietly making your back pain worse. Mistakes that millions of people repeat daily without even thinking. Once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to fix them. Mistake number 1, sitting in a way that collapses your spine. The first mistake is something so normal, so built into modern life, that most people don't even question it. Sitting. But here's the contrast most people miss. People think that danger comes from how long they sit, when in reality, it's how they sit repeatedly over time that quietly reshapes their body. At a surface level, sitting seems harmless. You're resting, you're off your feet, and it feels like recovery. But look closer at what's actually happening in most people's bodies. During those hours, shoulders roll forward, the chest caves inward, the natural curve of the lower spine flattens or even reverses, and the head begins to drift forward, sometimes inches ahead of where it should be. It doesn't feel like damage in the moment. In fact, it often feels easier and more comfortable. But that comfort is misleading because your spine is no longer stacked the way it was designed to be. Your spine isn't just a stack of bones. It's a dynamic structure designed to distribute load evenly. When you sit upright with balanced posture, pressure is shared across discs, joints, and muscles in a way that minimizes strain. But when you collapse forward, that balance disappears. Instead of force being distributed, it becomes concentrated, especially in the lower back. This is where the deeper issue begins to develop. Inside your spine are discs, soft, gel-like structures that act as shock absorbers. When you slump forward, the front of those discs gets compressed while the backside is stretched. Over time, that uneven pressure can push the inner material of the disc backward. This is how disc bulges and herniations begin, not from one dramatic movement, but from thousands of small, repeated positions. At the same time, ligaments that are meant to stabilize your spine begin to stretch beyond their ideal range, and muscles that are supposed to support you efficiently now have to work harder just to keep you upright. Your body doesn't resist these patterns, it adapts to them. That's the part most people don't realize. If you sit this way for hours every day, your hip flexors begin to shorten because they're constantly in a bent position. Your glutes, which are supposed to stabilize your pelvis, become inactive from lack of use. Your core disengages because of the chair is doing the work for it. Meanwhile, your upper back becomes overstretched and your chest tightens. Over time, this becomes your new normal. So what happens when you stand up? This is where the real-world impact shows up. You may feel stiffness when getting out of a chair. Your lower back might ache after a long day, even if you didn't do anything physically demanding. Your neck feels tight, your posture feels off, and movement doesn't feel as natural as it should. You may even fatigue faster during exercise. These aren't random issues. They're a direct result of how your body has adapted to the way you sit. So the goal isn't perfection, it's variability and awareness. Sit with your hips slightly higher than your knees to support a more natural spinal angle. Keep your feet grounded to create stability. Let your shoulders stay relaxed instead of forcing them back unnaturally. Most importantly, change positions often because your spine doesn't need you to hold one perfect position. It needs movement. And the longer you stay stuck in one position, the more your body adapts in ways that eventually lead to discomfort and dysfunction. Mistake number 2, staying still for too long. Even if you improve your posture, there's another issue that can quietly make things worse. Staying in one position for too long. This is where most people get misled. They believe that once they fix, their posture, the problem is solved. But the reality is your body doesn't just depend on one position. It depends on movement. And without it, even good posture can slowly turn against you. At a surface level, your body is built for motion. Movement fuels circulation, keeps joints lubricated, and allows muscles to contract and relax the way they're designed to. But when movement stops, everything begins to slow down. Muscles start to stiffen, joints lose their natural range of motion, and blood flow becomes less efficient. It's subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, but over time, this creates the perfect internal environment for discomfort to develop. To understand why this happens, you have to look a little deeper. Your joints rely on movement to stay healthy. Unlike muscles, which have a direct blood supply, many joint structures depend on motion to bring in nutrients and remove waste. When you're constantly moving, this system works smoothly. But when you stay still for long periods, that exchange slows down. The joint environment becomes less efficient and stiffness begins to build. And here's where the mechanism becomes even more interesting. Your nervous system plays a major role in how your body perceives stiffness and pain. When an area of your body hasn't moved in a while, your brain can interpret that lack of movement as a potential risk. So it responds by increasing tension in that area as a form of protection. That tension is what you feel as stiffness, and if it continues long enough, it can turn into discomfort or even pain. This is why one of the most overlooked contributors to back pain isn't injury or even weakness. It's simply a lack of movement. When your spine isn't regularly changing positions, it becomes less adaptable. So the solution isn't complicated, but it is powerful. Move more often. Not in an extreme or overwhelming way, but consistently throughout your day. You don't need intense workouts to fix this. Small, intentional breaks, standing up, stretching, walking around, or even just shifting your position can reset your system. These small movements restore circulation, re-engage muscles, and bring your joints back to life. Mistake number 3, a weak or inactive core. A weak or inactive core is a major cause of back pain, and it's often misunderstood. Your core isn't just your abs, it's a full system of muscles that support and stabilize your spine. When these muscles aren't properly engaged, your lower back takes on more stress than it should. Over time, this leads to tightness, fatigue, and that constant dull ache many people feel. But it's not just about strength, it's about activation. You can have a strong core, but if it's not working during everyday movements like standing, walking, or lifting, your body starts to compensate. The solution isn't intense workouts. It's focusing on simple, controlled exercises and learning to engage your core throughout the day. Because when your core is activated and working properly, your body feels more stable, supported, and pain-free. Number 4, the real reasons back pain comes back. Back pain isn't caused by one thing. It's the result of multiple daily patterns stacking up over time. Sleep, posture, and your environment all matter. Poor spinal support at night or long hours sitting in a bad setup can quietly strain your back without you noticing, leading to stiffness and discomfort. Pain also returns because it's a signal, not the root problem. Stretching or resting may help temporarily, but if your daily habits don't change, the same stress builds up again. Muscle imbalances play a role too. When some muscles become tight and others become weak, your body compensates, often shifting extra load to your lower back. Stress and breathing also affect your spine. Shallow breathing and constant tension keep your body in a low-level stress state, increasing tightness and reducing core support. Another issue is the myth of perfect posture. Holding one position too long creates stiffness. Your body actually needs regular movement and variation, not rigidity. The key takeaway is simple. Back pain keeps coming back because the patterns causing it never fully change. Real change happens through small, consistent actions. You can support your body by sleeping in better positions, like a pillow between or under your knees, doing simple core and pelvic stability exercises like glute bridges and deep core activation, and improving daily movement habits. Breathing exercises also help, especially slow, diaphragmatic breathing to reduce tension and re-engage your core. Nervous system regulation, like pausing during the day, relaxing your shoulders, and slowing your breath, helps lower constant muscle tension. Improving back pain isn't about finding one perfect solution. It's about changing the patterns that created it. Progress won't always be immediate, but it will be real. Because your body is always adapting, and when you begin to change your habits, your body begins to change with them. Back pain isn't something you simply have to live with. In many cases, it's a reflection of patterns, and patterns can be changed. And once you start changing them, that's where real relief begins.